Here we are.
Go grease lightning on. Grease lightning, go grease lightning. Hey!
You've got the Jude gear on.
Hey, Jude. See, I just went really emotional there again.
I think you've made it when you get your own clothes range named after you, do you?
Probably, gal.
I've never had that.
If you've got a company like Adidas giving you stuff like that.
The JB range.
Grease, you like that Grease movie?
Yeah. Oh, Olivia Newton-John, she's iconic.
Brilliant.
I don't like it, no. I told
I thought you said it was a bit
You don't
rude.
like it?
Well, I just think that back in the day, of course, it worked, but like, let's don't work now for the way the women are portrayed in it. You know?
All right, yeah. To be fair, I wasn't looking that deep.
Well, when you get daughters, you start looking at deep.
Yeah, well, I've
nothing
got
changes
daughters.
in
I've got
that
two daughters, but I was
but
looking at
nothing changes in respect of.
He's too busy DJing.
I think it's quite inspirational back then.
Do you mind if I call you Fat Boy Slim from now on?
Inspirational for who?
I think for that generation, it was an uplifting, inspiring movie.
Hi, hello everyone.
Similar to Tops.
I'm not talking about it.
We know that. I'm not the waiter.
Which one? Where's that?
Yeah, for me.
I'm not the waiter.
I'm not the waiter. That's a good one, Rafa. I'm not the waiter. Terrible.
I will tell you something that you don't know. And you don't know. But I will tell you. It's
Pink lady.
I thought I'd go girly today.
No. Rafa's there.
No.
Oh.
That's my chi out.
Oh, good. Rafa.
Yeah, Rafa.
change here.
Sorry.
Chill.
Sorry, Rafa. Rafa, sorry to mess you about like that.
Have
That's
ironed
just
it
Ben.
about 6
That's
times.
what Ben does. I'm really sorry about him.
Welcome to podcast.
1999.
Rafa's going to tell us something that we don't know.
1999, who extended his contract with Manchester United? 1999.
Me?
Yeah.
Right.
I was there.
You were watching the training, weren't you?
Yep.
Ah.
And you were training with your brother with the reserve team the day after.
Yeah,
I was with Jordi Cruyff and Roberto Martinez watching the training session because we spent 1 week watching Manchester United. And everybody was joking because you were watching, Ferguson was upstairs, and then everybody was joking with you, oh, you have to go there.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was there.
You remember everything, Rafa?
No, I remember that.
Rafa, I'm already afraid of Rafa. He knows.
Well, you were playing 9 against 9
Thank you.
in a 40-for-20 with the bench as a goal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we love that.
But that was the game. That was what we did. Do you know why he did that? He did that the day before every game because when he had the big goals, we were literally.
Yeah.
So he didn't stop tackling.
Yeah. But there was 9 against 9 in 40-for-20. You play 5 asides.
Yeah.
So 9 against 9. Imagine that was a mess.
Yeah.
And after you were doing the finishings, and the goalkeeping coach was taking the ball. It's a line of players taking the ball in his hands, passing the ball here. Oh. And then after you were stretching, and Scholes and Beckham, they were
Kicking balls everywhere.
turning around, and the other they were stretching, and they were kicking balls. I said,
Wow.
oof. Bosnia was eating a bowl of yogurt with Crispies. 15 minutes before the training session, and the toros that you were playing was killing each other. Bing, bang, sharing up, bing, bang, without any warm-up. And then back with me, we were, oof.
Wow.
So the training session was, oof. And after Solskjaer was asking for, on his own to train apart because he has to do some fitness.
Yeah. Was this the start of the season after the treble or before?
Was in August. And
So the pre-season, so after it, yeah, okay.
Pre-season. So you were playing, I was checking because you play against Leeds and Harry Kewell was playing there. And you beat them easily with the stamp as centre back. It was very easy, 2 against 2 all the time. So that was quite easy. But we were watching the training session. I was going to see Tottenham before, and I was going to see Manchester United. And then you were doing a wall pass. Oh, it's a movement that you were practicing. No, the players they do on their own. So it's just a. For us,
imagine what we could have won if we had good trainers.
Jeez.
We should have copied it.
Rafa is cracking up, and we beat you 1-4. You were cracking up.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that in
Maybe, yeah.
Probably.
I have my friends in Valencia, and they told me about you, so I prefer don't repeat what they say. I don't like the tiki-taka. I think it's a waste of time. Stevie is the best player that I have ever coach.
Yeah.
If you want to buy Gerrard and Carragher this time, you pay 200 millions. 180 for Gerrard. I was thinking, I need to pass them the belief that we can
But
do
did you
this.
have the belief, truthfully, were you 3-0 to a brilliant team?
No.
In the first season, because Rafa's English wasn't great, if he made a substitution at half time, he'd just say the person's surname and shower. So it was just like Traore, shower.
I want to pull you back to the tactical point in coaching. So we arrived at the Euros. You remember this, the very first day that we arrived in Berlin about 8 weeks ago. And we sat down and we talked about English coaching. Do you remember that conversation we had about? And I said, why is English coaching, or British coaching, if you like, where it is compared to, say, Spanish coaching or Italian coaching or French coaching? Why? The word basic, I think we were talking about, wasn't it, in terms of understanding of the game? Why do you think Spanish coaching, I mean, Spanish coaching is at the elite level, and we accept as English, British coaches that you look at sort of we've not developed our own style anymore. We had a style in the 70s and 80s, I think, but I don't think we've got a style now. Why do you believe that is?
If you go to the coaches' courses, I think in Wales they have one that is quite good. And I was giving a couple of talks with the LMA, and it's okay. But the problem is that in Spain, when you are a kid, you start working on that technically, and Italy is tactically all the time. In Spain, technically and tactically, you start working on that. In England was the POMO, position of maximum opportunity. So
the direct play.
Yeah, so long ball, second balls. I remember my stats at the beginning. I will not say the team, but you know the teams and the manager. The keeper has more passes in the final third than any other player because they were playing long balls all the time and second balls. I'm quite eclectic, so I don't like the tiki-taka. I think it's a waste of time. And I don't like the direct play. I think you have to do something in between. Balance is the key. How many passes you need to score a goal? The percentage. So how many? Less than 6 passes. Less than 6 passes you score in 2021, 2022, and now in the Euros.
Yeah,
65% of the goals.
Well, can I stop you there, Rafa? But when you go back to what you've just said there about Pomo, that's Charles Hughes, the FA, I was part of that as a young player. But that's where, what you're talking about there, that was about his statistics then it's less than 5 passes to score a goal. You've just said something similar. How would you sort of say that was different? Counter-attack.
A lot of, now it's modern football now. So what I want to do, so I know that we are well organized and tactically we are good and we press, we know, blah, blah. But modern football now is more high pressing, that we had that. Regain when you give the ball away. Now we could see with Spain in the wide areas 1v1, sometimes creating a mess that in the past was not too much. But the high pressing, regain the ball quickly because you are high, keep the possession on the other pitch. So we have seen a lot of passes in our own pitch. You have to see that. Then if you do that, you will score more goals in regain and not just long balls and second balls, because you will have chances. But it's not clear because the other team is waiting for that. When we were playing with Liverpool against championship teams in the cup, not the first one that we were out in the
Burnley.
Yeah, with the own goal of Jimmy.
Wasn't me.
Jimmy was going inside the goal. What are you doing? So,
I remember it, yeah.
But you know why we lost? Because the game was suspended.
Yes, I was in the tunnel waiting.
Then you were, in theory, you will play the first game with Zach Whitbread. And because it was suspended, then we put Sammy, and the pitch was terrible. And then I was expecting you will be more aggressive than Sami Hyypiä. And then we were weak in defence because of that. So it was
That's the first compliment I've had from Rafa Benitez in 25 years.
But coming back to why is English why is Spanish coaching?
Yeah, so then I go back, yeah.
And English coaching is so, and it's not being fair to all English coaches, I don't want to generalise, but generally
we were when I was obviously I was in the university studying football, but after I do the courses with the Spanish Federation, then the way that they coach you, the way that they teach you is quite good. You are doing the practice, and then you have the teams. We play no style, but it's more passing than in England at this time, and I would say less tactics than in Italy at this time. But we were doing that, learning from the beginning. So I was doing analysis of games every single time, and then patterns of play here, patterns of play there, automatisms here, press here. Why you have to? So you are coaching your players to do that all the time, and then the coaches, we coach the coaches. So when I came to England, I said to I went to see Tottenham, West Ham, and Manchester United, the first team. But Tottenham and West Ham, I went to see the academies. And I was surprised. West Ham at this time, they have a multi-station machine. You have seen this machine, no?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know.
The weights, you mean? The weights.
So then they were doing the same exercise, all the players with the same kilograms. So you have the keeper that was like that, and the winger that was like that. The same kilograms. In Spain, it's impossible. So everybody has more or less the same weight and things like that. So I was surprised, and Tottenham was surprised for me. It was a rainy day in England, in London, and they were doing indoor some crosses from the right side. And then they invited me after to have a coffee. The players, they were very polite. They waiting, can we sit down? Yes, sit down. But everything was fine. Then the day after, I was expecting how they would do crosses from the left side. They didn't do it. So why you do crosses in a session of nearly 1 hour from the right side and not from the left? In Spain, you work on both sides and you work. When you have to start coaching players, 8, 12 years old is when they start really 8, 10 years old learning football. In China, for example, they don't have football in the schools. So they start at 13. So that is the reason why they don't have the coordination. So in England, you have that because you have the academies and you have everything. In Spain, you have that. But the coaches are coached much better. And then instead of we are like that, we play like this, and we go, you tackle, In Spain, they want to play and they want to tackle.
Stick to Football, brought to you by SkyBet.
Let's get to sort of Liverpool and Istanbul, but obviously in terms of how you set the team up. But first of all, obviously the semi-final was Mourinho. We played against them so often.
16
Explain
times
to
we
us.
played against Chelsea.
No, but sort of what was the plan? They had a much better team than us.
Yeah.
So how did we compete? How did we beat Chelsea in those one-off games?
I was checking also that. How much money, because people, they don't understand that. When we talk about Manchester City and Arsenal spending money, but it's not what you spend 1 year, it's what you have spent already. So Chelsea has spent 300 million in the last 2 years, in the last year before and the year that we were there. So they were much better players. So it's like when they say, Ferguson spent this or that and you spent. No, because you have the two Nevilles and you have Scholes and you have Giggs. So these players, they were millions if you go to the market. So you have this advantage. We have Carragher and Gerrard. That was millions also, but...
Millions, he said. Millions, not millions.
No, honestly, if you want to buy Gerrard and Carragher this time, you pay 200 millions. 180 for Gerrard. Anyway, so talking about, I lost the conversation. So,
Chelsea.
So you could play against Chelsea. How many chances they had? In 2 games, they have 2 chances, 2 shots on target. Wow. We could play without keeper and still winning. Apart from
the 2 semi-finals.
In the 2 semi-finals, they had 2 shots on target. So then they say, the goal. Listen, it was penalty and red card. Goal. That's it. We won. But we were playing against the best team in Europe at this time. Yeah. But not just this game. Remember that Olympiacos was difficult, but okay, we were with Gerrard make the difference, with Melo, with Sinama, but fantastic. But Juventus was a massive team.
Yeah.
They beat Real Madrid. They was really good, and we changed the tactics to play against because Alonso was he has a bad tackle from Lampard in 1 game, and he was 3 months injured. Yeah. So he has to go to Spain and then have the physio there.
We played 3 at the back in
and
Juventus.
then we played 3 at the back because they were playing with 2 strikers and
Nedved coming inside. Yeah.
So Del Piero and Ibrahimovic and Nedved here and Camoranesi. So they have a fantastic team. We changed, and I told Xabi, stay there, don't run, because he couldn't run. So he just passed the ball, and we have Vizcan, and we have Núñez, and we have Luis Garcia and Barros. So we play 5-3-1-1 to adapt because we wanted to win. I don't care about if they say, we wanted to win. So tactically, that was a great game. They have 1 chance in a free kick and hit the post outside.
At the end of the game.
0-0, and we won. Then we went to Chelsea. And Chelsea, I know when I was talking with Arsene Wenger about that, they hate to play against us because we were well organized, aggressive, and we knew. And every time we were getting better and better every year because you were understanding the game. When we talk about coaches and we talk about mentality, game intelligence, you need players that they can compete, they have the right mentality to win, experience, and they are learning.
I remember, Rafa, when we used to play Chelsea, and I think at that time when Chelsea came in, Manchester United and Arsenal were like really attacking, technical teams, and Chelsea just go, you can't score against us and we'll nick one. Whereas we almost played them with their own game. and was like, well, we're not going to do it, we're going to sit there. But I remember really vividly their midfield of maybe not that specific game, but sort of Lampard, Makelele, maybe SCN, Thiago, powerful players. And we'd have maybe Alonso in there, maybe Didi Hamann, Stevie was maybe in a number 10 position. But I remember you vividly telling us at the back, never pass into midfield.
Wow.
Don't pass to our central midfield players because they are too powerful for us, and if they win it there, we're dead. You know, Robin, Duff going. So we all. Every time I got the ball, we played.
But your
wide.
mindset, Rafa, you're talking here, but you're manager of Liverpool, right? Great history, obviously a huge club. Yeah, you've mentioned the teams you were playing in Europe at that time as if Liverpool are a small. Was that your mentality a little bit against these teams that you're up against it? You have to park the bus a little bit. You said Chelsea are amazing, Juventus are amazing.
He can say, because you say the perception.
But your history had a huge part. You must know that, obviously.
No, but I don't say to my teams, park the bus and wait. No, if you say before, I want to control the game with the ball or without the ball. It depends on the quality of my players and the other team. So I don't say my team stay at the edge of the box. Normally it's 30 meters, 3/4, or high.
I remember I did the press conference with you. You know when a player does the press conference before the game, and you said to me, "I've been deciding all night whether we play 3/4 or whether we go high." So what Rafa used to say to me before a game was, "Where's the defensive line when the opposition have the ball at the back? So are we going to be high, which meant the centre backs would be on the halfway line? Are we going to be you said 3/4, but you know like the semicircle of the half? So we'd be a little bit deeper. And if we played someone who was like off the scale, quick. Arsenal, Thierry Henry, you'd say to me, a little bit deeper than 3/4. And I remember you said to me before the game, I've been toying with the idea, do we go high or do we play 3/4? But because you're playing at Anfield, you said to me, we can't go back. It's Anfield, it's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So to me, you've got to get the back four up when they're at because we've got to get after them and use the crowd and the energy.
Surely that depends on pressure on the ball as well.
Yeah.
Like you getting them up or
of course,
you
but initially, I always say when you talk about pressing, because I've played midfield and defence, the midfield always look at the back four and say push up, and the back four always say press. You've got to do it together.
Rafa, I don't think I was ever concerned about Liverpool winning the league in my whole time at United, apart from there was one point where you were getting better and better. You had Reina, you had Carragher and Hippie, you had Mascherano, Alonso, you had Gerrard and Torres, and that was a spike that you were getting to a level that I thought was getting near and a little bit uncomfortable. And then it just went over the edge. You didn't seem to kick on. I think Alonso left maybe. I think Mascherano maybe left. I'm not quite sure the distance between those two.
No, it's quite simple.
What happened there in terms of at that point
it's quite simple. When I went to Liverpool, they told me in 3 years' time, we want to compete. Nobody was expecting to be there. Why we didn't qualify for the Champions League? We finished 5th. Because we were in the Champions League already. And the motivation of the player was so much against Juventus, then I remember against Birmingham, I was pushing, and we drew, we lost, and then Everton was there.
So you said the league games they struggled to get up?
Yeah, because we lost concentration.
This is the first season. We didn't have
first season. Okay.
The first season. Yeah. But we spent 38 million. So considering the money of Cissé that Julian has the agreement. So and then Manchester United could spend 30 million in one player.
So you had a budget of 38 million?
No, my budget was 20.
20 million?
20. 6 years after, was 17 with Hicks and Gillette. 17. I have a business plan with 3 options, 20, 17, 15. And then I have my business plan with players on loan, players that we can buy.
How much was your budget would have been in your head?
At this time.
What did you need, do you think, at that time?
No, the other teams, they could be talking about 60, 70 million.
Okay. Could you have sold players and got that money, or no? Was that part of...
My business plan, I was very American, and I learned about that. So you have your squad, you have the salaries, and then you have players that you want to sell, and then more or less, always if you want to sell a player for 20, you put 15, because you know that maybe you will not get 20.
Yeah.
And then commission of the agent. Player that you want to send on loan, and then you save the salaries, you put that. And then players that you want to buy, and then you put the salaries and the commission of the agent, and then you have a figure. So then depending on what they were giving to me, that was 17, then I could go to sign. And I will give you...
Who were the owners then, Rafa, in that
Hicks and
first 3
Gillette.
years? No, before Hicks and Gillette.
David
Rick
Morse.
Parry and
David Morse and Rick Parry, the chief
David Morse.
executive.
Okay, so
they were great. No,
But the budget
never
was still quite low, basically.
Yeah, because we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So the chairman, he was telling me, we don't have the money to compete against the other teams, Chelsea, United. You have 75,000 fans, and you have every year, we have 44 at this time, 44,000. You have 50 million extra every year. That's it. So we have to compete. You think about that, a foreign manager coming to compete against the top sides here with a big money. We were going to, I have two things that you will like. Hicks and Gillette. I wanted to sign Jovetic. And
Fiorentina. He played against us, didn't he? Yeah.
And Jovetic was 16 millions, 16. Then in my head, I was selling players, and I have 36 millions. Sorry, 34, because I spent 36. Then I say, I want to sign Jovetic. We don't have money. Christian Puro told me, we don't have money. Why? We don't have money. I cannot say on record why we don't have money. Then we went to play against Fiorentina, and we lost 2-0, and Jovetic scored 2 goals. And I say to him,
That's the guy.
this is the player that we wanted to sign. And we didn't have money. So the point that we didn't have the money.
Just at that point, you couldn't go that extra bit
We
with
couldn't, and we have injuries. The last year we had so many injuries at the beginning, but also I was signing the captain of Wales was playing for us.
Adam Ramsey.
Ramsey was playing for Cardiff, and we made an offer 1.5 on bonuses. Cardiff was playing in the FA Cup. They said, no, it's like Steven Gerrard for us. Wait, and Rick Parry was there. Then we have to wait. I said, listen, we have to do it. 17 years old was. And then when we were going again to try to sign him, Arsene Wenger paid 5 million for him. We couldn't sign Ramsey. That's it. Gareth Bale, when he was 17, Southampton, 6 months after we were watching him, Tottenham paid 8 million, he was 17. So we couldn't compete. And we have to bring, and you were upset because obviously you are competitive and say, oh, you are bringing Ayala. We have to pay 250,000 euros for Ayala for the compensation. To sell him later on for 750, that was our business. We couldn't compete against the top side.
We
So
know
every
what's
year was
Rafa.
worse and worse.
Rafa, could I ask you, I mean, I think what Gary's talking about is, and you're talking about the journey to sort of get, I think you're talking about that season in 2009 where we come close to winning the title. And I would say that was the best team I ever played in Liverpool. You're talking about the spine of sort of Reina, Sammy, Mascherano, Alonso, Stevie. And then we had a great season. Now, right throughout that season, the summer before, Alonso had nearly been sold to, I think it might have been Arsenal at the time. We was talking about Gareth Barry coming in. Now, from a frustration for me as a player is that you want to sell Alonso, Alonso wants to go. That's not my frustration. My thing is, you're the manager. You decide you're the manager. You decide who comes, who goes. But then the season starts and Xavi stays. And Xavi has maybe his best season for Liverpool. My frustration is because maybe you had a disagreement maybe at the start of the season, maybe. And then, but I look at it, and I'm sure you'll put me straight, but I think if a manager and a player, something's a little bit fractious, but then the season starts and this player is playing really well, the team is playing really well. Haven't you won? This player is playing really well. And then he obviously goes the next summer. Could that not have been fixed as the season's going on in terms of maybe a contract or something like that? Because we had something there.
Well, you think it cost you?
Well, later on, it wasn't just Xavi going, but it was like... That was
one of the things.
But what I'm saying is,
it was a big thing. Him leaving was a step back.
Did that relationship...
No, it's not that.
Continue through the season.
Xavi is a very good player. He's a very clever player, clever person, and he's someone that is right. So I don't have any issue with that, and I could carry on with him. When we were for Gareth Barry, it's because he could play in 3 different positions. And then we needed to sell.
Yeah.
Then Xavi had an agreement because I told him, listen, we need to sell. Then Xavi was talking with one club, and he had an agreement. I know the figures. Then the year after that you are talking about, we played Standard Liège in the precision. Remember that we have...
You played Precises in midfield.
We have Mascherano and Lucas in the Olympic Games. Gerrard has a lower back problem. And then we have to play Plessis and him. He got an agreement with Arsenal.
And he didn't want to get cup-tied?
He didn't want to. And I told you and I told Gerrard. And I remember because I was surprised. and I will criticize you now. I was surprised because
We're like this.
Xabi was sit down here. I told you and I told Gerrard before, listen, he had an agreement, he doesn't want to play, but he has to play because we cannot play with two lads in the most important game of the season to qualify for the Champions League. I told you both, and then when we're going out for the warm-up, you said, well, poor Xabi, poor Xabi. No, poor Xabi, no. Xabi is playing with our club at this time. And again, I would say Xabi is amazing. I don't say anything. But during the season, he was the best player. He didn't went to Arsenal because he has to play. And he has a knock during the warm-up and he fell down and I said, I said, he will not play. And after he was fine and he played. And remember that we stopped a penalty with Pepe Reina.
Which game is it? Oh, Stand of the Age.
Yeah. Xabi told him, be careful that because if the centre-back takes the penalty, we'll go here. Don't jump because if you... Then he saved the penalty and we won in the last minute the next time with a goal of Dirk Kuyt. Okay, Xabi was doing really well. We play against Lazio, the last friendly game, the fans, Xabi, and I said, listen, Xabi was going to Arsenal, and the fans, they love him, fine.
Just from a player's point of view, I'd have loved you and Alonso to we're doing really well. Forget what's happened in the summer. And I know we might have, we need him to, can we get him to, it's like, we're there with the...
But let me continue then. No, I agree with you. So
Jamie, it sounds like Xabi made his mind up in respect
to...
The point is that his agent came to see me. His agent that I met him the other day in Berlin. So his agent came to me, Rafa, this, and he said, we don't have the same relationship now. He said, why? Because he came and said, listen, if you bring out an offer of 40 million from AC Milan, I told him, he will not go. I told him, he will not go. He has 3 more years. He will stay. But the end said, nah. Then he said, why we don't have the same relationship? Very simple, because you have an agreement now, and you are not telling me. And I told him the figures, because I knew the figures. So a friend of mine...
Real Madrid?
Yeah, a friend of mine who was there in the office, when his agent was flying back, and said, he was running in the office of the director of football. He gave me the Iñaki, the agent. So I knew already what was going on. Then I started talking with the chief executive, and it was clear. And I said, listen, if it's not 40 million, I will not sell Xabi. I was very clear on that. And at this time, you are right. He was thinking about to leave because he has the.
If like, obviously, what you're saying is true. But if we knew Alonso...
I can give you off the record the details.
No, I don't know. But my point being is I'm trying to think...
I'm trying to think...
No, about where we were going as a club. And I'm thinking about, so if probably you were aware that Alonso was maybe going in February, March, he's got an agreement with Real Madrid, I get that. But then we end up with like a player who's... So have we not got a long time to know who we're going to sort of bring in? Because we end up bringing a player in who's injured. Yeah, I mean,
The players have got a job as well.
But listen, I think it was clear there was obviously, which is normal, a manager and a player, something's gone on in the summer and it carries on. But my point being then, if you were aware that the situation with Alonso and Madrid, and then from a player's point of view about us, okay, we finished second, a little bit like Arsenal now, you think you finish second, the next step is that step. We end up like bringing Aquilani who's injured. So you understand from a player's point of view, you think, we've lost Alonso, the player you bring in is injured. And
you have been a manager, so you need to understand. Let me carry on with that. We finished the season. We knew that he had an agreement. We went to do the pre-season where?
Switzerland,
in Asia, in China, in Singapore. So Xabi Alonso was in the Conference League with all the Spanish players. They won the Conference League. He came back. We still don't have to play 2 games. The first game he didn't play because he twisted his ankle running, jogging.
He threw on him basically, Rafa, did he?
Then,
like the blisters.
And the second game was in Singapore, 82,000 fans with banners. We love Xabi and Torres. Remember that they played 50 minutes and Torres was doing everything perfect in 50 minutes. The fans, especially the girls, It was amazing. Then we finished
Don't look at me.
We finished the game, and I knew that Xabi was leaving. Then the Spanish press was creating, because it's what they do. They did it with Michael Owen, and they did with all the time. The Spanish press, and they thought, Rafa is not talking with Xabi, but I was talking with Xabi. Rafa did, Xabi will do this, and Xabi was doing that, so he was following that. Then he's not talking with him, and then I say to the official photographer, listen, be ready, I will talk with Xabi. Then I went to Xabi.
This was a good... You used to always do it with Stevie, didn't you? Stevie, come here a minute. I get the picture for the paper the next day.
But then I was smiling and he was... take the picture. So for the Spanish press, they couldn't say anything. And then in the way back, I told Xabi, who are you talking with? He said, Valdano. You're wrong. You have to talk with the president. This is the number. Then I gave 2 days off, and after he came, and then Florentino was phoning, and they start. So as a manager, you have to deal with a player that wants to go, and you have to keep the price as high as possible. And I say 40 million. That was my price. I know the price. I knew that was not the price. Then the chief executive, Jose Angel, called me, and he told me, listen, you know, but it's not 20 that they offer. It's not 20. And then at the end, we increased the price with some bonuses. It was close to 40. So we did a great deal. Then we went for Aquilani. And then you have a chief scout. What I said before, now in modern football, you cannot be checking everything. So you need people that they will do part of the job, and then you have to trust them. Then he has an injury, an ankle injury, and he said, we need a medical test. They did the medical revision, and they said, maybe in 1 month he will be fine, okay? Just in case we will do another one, because that was 20 million for us. It was a big money that we didn't have. The second doctor, he said, 2 months.
Wow.
I said, we need another one. And then we went to another one, he said 3 months.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I said, we don't go to anyone else, because if not, it will be... Then we have to make a decision. And we thought that with our doctor working, it will be fine. And it was not fine. It was not fine. So I could see him running in the hill, and then he was...
You make a good point, Rafa. Jamie, you're a Liverpool lad, Gerrard, and when you have a player, sometimes a player wants to leave a club but when they refuse to play and they don't want to be cup tied, I'm surprised players don't turn on another player. When I say turn, I'm going, if you're senior players at the club, well, we wouldn't have tolerated that, would be at United. I know managers can have a disagreement with a player and a player wants to leave, but again, it is frustrating for a manager to see a player who's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and everyone's being mates with him instead of going.
Yeah, because he was nice. He was a nice lad, and he was a good professional. So everything that you can say positive about Xabi is right. Yeah. But at this point, maybe the people around...
Of course. But in that moment, Rafa, the losing of Xabi Alonso and Aquilani coming in, was that the moment that it turned where you...
Yeah, you can say maybe because that, but the reality is that we couldn't compete. We have to go for... People were criticizing and go. And we paid 1.5 million for him, when the second striker of Manchester United could be 50 million easily. So, and our top striker was 20 million pounds. So that was massive for us. But when I went to Liverpool and checking, people say, you have to... The average point that Liverpool has was 72, and then the league was 80-something to win the league. But checking the stats of the next years, the second year, we broke the record, 82. We did 82, and we finished third. Yeah. Then the year that we nearly won with the Fax conference and
we'll
all
that. We'll come on to that, Rafa.
This year we did 86 points. That was the record again. So then we couldn't do more because we didn't have the money, and we have to sell players to buy players.
Stick to Football, brought to you by SkyBet. I want to ask you about Steven Gerrard, because there's an age-old debate in England about Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, but I've got this feeling that you quite often, maybe it was against us, but maybe often more than that, you often played him not in central midfield in a 2, and you played him to the right or you played him off the front. Was that because you... Why did you do that? I'm not going to be... I don't want to be disrespectful to Steve because he's one of the best players I've ever seen.
You said before. Tactically, could he
play? Because I don't think he can play that position either.
Who was the England manager at this time? 2004-05.
Sven.
And who was his assistant?
Steve.
That was my friend. So Steve came one day talking with me. They didn't know what to do with Lampard and Gerrard because both they are English box-to-box midfielders.
I don't think either of them were central midfielders.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point.
I think that discussion was when McLaren became the manager, because Stevie's told me about that. You spoke to... I think when McLaren became the manager, maybe in 2000.
But you didn't trust Steven in the midfield?
No, it's not trust.
No, I don't mean trust. I mean, you didn't...
Stevie is the best player that I have ever coached.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Madrid, I couldn't say that, but now I can say that. It's very clear. So he had everything. What he was missing was the tactical knowledge that a foreign player has, because they play in this position and they say, okay, now I have to... He was so good, he has so much energy that he could get into the box, go as a full-back, do whatever he wanted to do, but he needed to understand the position. And with Alonso, it could be fine, but Alonso is not the quickest. So we have a gap when he was going, we have a gap, and then we have in some of the finals this problem. So then I didn't know exactly his best position. He was not a player, because I had Aimar in Valencia between the lines. So Aimar is small, very good in the pockets, blah, blah, blah. So Stevie was not that. So I put him on the right against Chelsea. He played on the right. When Capello came, and that's one of the things, Stevie told me, with this manager, we will win something. Why? Because the wife situation, all the wives and all these things. So he was very strict. And then he put him on the left. Yeah. Then I put him on the right, he put him on the left. And I knew, but he has freedom to go inside. When he create a problem. So it was difficult to find the place. And then you put Mascherano, and then when we bring Torres, and we put behind the striker. And the point with Gerrard, he was so good technically, and he could pass the ball with pace, that Torres is very fast. He could receive the ball straight away. With another player, maybe it will be more difficult for Torres. But then we find the balance, and the team was quite strong. Then to replace all these kind of things, you need to have some money. Say, I am looking for a player that has to be this, that, that. You don't even have this money. So you were going to the market trying to sign players, to convince players. I was talking with Vidic before he signed for Manchester United. 100% I knew that he was not coming for us, because when I was talking with him, he said, oh, you have to talk with the girlfriend that she talks English. Then she told me, oh, I like the cities like Manchester and Liverpool. I said, why is talking about Manchester? So, so I knew that already that you were making a bigger offer than us. Yeah. So we didn't have the money, we didn't have the salaries.
Was that to replace him?
No, it was to play alongside him. So, no, because after we signed Skrtel and Agnes, he was there. So we didn't have the money to buy the players, and we didn't have the money to pay the players. Yeah. And if you are, always I say, why for Liverpool is so difficult to stay there for a while? So I think the new owners, they were lucky because we sold Torres for 50 million. Then after was Luis Suarez, and after was Coutinho. So they have money to spend. If not, you have to spend a lot of money that Chelsea, Manchester City, they spend. They don't need to bring the money, they spend the money. So for us, for Liverpool, was very difficult. Why? Because the families, they prefer to stay in London because they have the airport, or maybe Manchester because it's an international airport, and then Liverpool was the third choice. Because the size of the city, they like to go shopping in London. I have one wife that was talking with the other wives.
First wife or second wife?
I was talking with the other wives. The other wives to get them to London, even to New York for shopping. So, and I lost the player. I have to sell the player because it was very difficult because, then you cannot pay the salaries. In terms of the city, I like Liverpool, I love Liverpool, but if you go to London, the wife will say, oh, the families, people, and then you have more flights, and Manchester International Airport, blah, blah, blah. And then win trophies. Liverpool was not winning trophies, then Manchester was winning trophies, Chelsea was winning trophies, even Arsenal was winning trophies. So it was very, very difficult. You were always, then you have to convince players. So we signed Sissoko. Sissoko, I was telling David Moyes.
Really well.
They were talking with him, and they were flying to talk with him, and I was on the phone with him and said, yeah, listen, come here. But you have to bring players that they trust you, or someone that they are telling, listen, with this coach you will improve and then you will...
Rafa, can I going back to Stevie's position takes me to the Champions League finals. Because you're talking about sort of Stevie understanding that role. But for us it was a shock that Stevie was playing central midfield in the Champions League final. So you've just explained to us sort of maybe understanding the position. What was the reason why you put Stevie central midfield alongside Alonso? Because you know Stevie's going to go forward, Alonso's going to be left isolated.
Who was left out?
Didier Mann had played through the Champions League and Stevie had played as a number 10. So we go to the game thinking that would be the team, and then you did something different. What was the thinking there?
Because you were thinking about to win with offensive players, so to play Luis Garcia, to play Harry Kewell, and then Gerrard, offensive players, plus Barros, you have more offensive players going there with Rize. So the idea was, we will attack them and we will play between the lines, we will find, because they play with a diamond. They play 3-1. So both sides of the holding midfielders, Luis going inside, Harry Kewell between the lines, you could create something.
Who, okay, but on the flip side of that, if Stevie's getting forward and you've got Alonso there, who would be looking after Carragher? If they're playing a diamond...
That was our problem later on. You realised that...
You saw that at half-time.
Yeah, So we realized that we had a problem because Stevie has to come back, but it's a box-to-box and he goes. Then if he's not there, Alonso is not quick enough and Kaká was finding the spaces.
But what I'm saying, my point being on that is like, was that not something like a thought process before the game? Was that a risk you were prepared to take?
No, but they wanted to win.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, were you thinking, well, okay, because of the way I've set up, Kaká will have a little bit of space, but we back Stevie maybe to cause more problems. Was that the sort of, because that's, I wouldn't normally associate, I've worked with you for 6 years, I wouldn't associate that team or that sort of way we went to start with in the final with you, considering the qualities of the
I was
opposition.
trusting my offensive players at this time because Luis can make a difference. Harry people criticize Harry because...
He was injured though, wasn't he?
He was injured. We have to make the substitution. But Harry, he has the pace, he has the ability, he could shot and he was good in the air. So you have a player between the lines that he could finish, you have Luis that he could score goals, you have Barros that you know that he was a runner, and you have Stevie that he could... You have 4 players that they could get into the box and create something around the box when they have a holding midfielder and Pirlo that is not the quickest. So I thought, okay, you can create something. Well, the first thing that I say, don't play short, play long. And we keep the ball away short and we made a foul and then we concede.
Yeah, from the kick-off, Jimmy, wasn't it, when he knocked it long? Yeah.
So then we made too many mistakes. And then what happened in the second final? The second final, when I made the substitution of Mascherano to play Crouch because we were losing, we lit the gap and Kaká came here and then they played, Inzaghi scored the goal.
You know in Istanbul then, so you set the team, obviously we concede early, but that's nothing to do tactically, that was a set piece. How long, so you're watching this game as a manager, how long into that game do you think we're going to need to change this?
When we conceded the second goal, I was telling Paco, I don't know exactly how many minutes, I was telling Paco, I stand, be ready, I will give my talk, and then we will play 3 at the back, and then as soon as I finish, you go with Hammond to do a proper warm-up. I told him, and I was taking my notes, and then we conceded the 3rd goal. My point was, how can you pass a message, and I will tell you the story that maybe you know about. One training session in Melwood was very windy, and then my English is not great now, it wasn't great before, obviously. I was studying French in the school. So then I said to Stevie that I was taking the free kick, be careful with the wine. And people start laughing because I say wine instead of wind.
Oh, yeah.
And be careful with the wine. But we play against Olympiacos the year after in a friendly, and we signed Peter Crouch, and we have Cissé, and we have Didi Hamann, and blah, blah, blah. Then my assistant was Alec Miller, Scottish. Then I was preparing all my notes in Spanish, translating to English, to be sure that I was using the right words. So when we were giving the ball away, always I was saying, press when losing, press when losing, press when losing. Then we went to the friendly. And then he said, Peter Crouch, okay, if we give the ball away, what do we have to do? And he said, close it down. I said, no. Then everybody was, oh. Then Didi, I said, close it down. I said, no. Then Cissé, and he said, press when losing. He said, why? And they started laughing because I didn't know close it down. I didn't know the word close it down. Okay. Then I would say, no. Then how
you should
important?
See me in Valencia.
But people, Gary, people, they don't realize because I have my friends in Valencia and they told me about you. So I prefer don't repeat what they say.
No, honestly, Rafa, you know something? Actually being able to get the right terminology
in Istanbul here, aren't we?
Honestly.
Where are we here?
Have we found out?
You know, when you're a manager, you know, you're 3-0 down at half-time, you're an experienced manager, you've won the big trophies. Are you also sitting there going, fuck, this could be 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, you are worried about that.
Obviously, the next goal,
you are worried about that.
You don't want to be embarrassed to lose a final 6-0 or 5-0.
Happened to me when I was in Extremadura, and then we were losing a game that was 3-0, and then we scored the goal and said, what can we do now? The other team is much better than us. If we go high, we leave a space, it will be 5-6, and then at this time, what I said, for me was clear. We have to score 1 goal. I remember all of them with their head down. I said, listen, put the head up. So we have nothing to lose. We have been working so hard to be here. Nothing to lose. Come on, if we score 1 goal, we go back. And it's in my notes. We go back into the game. We were lucky enough to score 3 goals in 6 minutes, but they changed of tactics. Yeah. Changed the dynamic of the game.
But even for an experienced manager, could you still be sitting there going, this could be 5 or 6?
Yeah. No, you are worried about that. But you have to convince them.
That's right.
So I am quite calm, quite analytic, but I am trying always to win. I am trying to find a solution. Yeah. So I was thinking, I need to pass them the belief that we can do.
But did you have the belief, truthfully, where you're 3-0 to a brilliant team? No. You're just faking it a little bit. But
it's not that I was thinking, oh, no. I have to do my job now. That's it. what happened, we will see. But
Was he thinking to stop the flow? Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Was he thinking they can't let them score any more goals? That's the main.
Yeah, the main thing was to have the control, and then Didi Hamann was at the end was ideal because we have the balance. But the reality that they don't used to play in England. You don't used to play against 4-3-1-2. Yeah. The Italians, they used to play that, but normally they go through the middle and they have Cafu. Then they come with the fullbacks and they have some issues.
Maldini as fullbacks.
Yeah. No, the team
Not too bad, is it?
Jesus.
So then, to control all these kind of things, you need to understand, and the players, they need some time to understand. When you play, now the other day I was using the artificial intelligence, so I was asking questions to the chat GPT.
What did they say? Play Haman.
Don't forget that I trust the knowledge of the person, of the coach, the experience. So I trust my knowledge, my experience, my vision. When I went to Real Madrid, I was coming from the university. I was a young coach.
Rafa, let's get back to half-time.
Let me finish. Then I was asking Luis Molotni. Luis Molotni was the general manager. I said, "Oh, you don't do tests, physical tests?" Yeah, we do tests, visual tests. We see the players and we know if they are good or bad. He told me that, and I remember that. Wow. I have my experience, my knowledge to know the players, to know what the profile of the player, blah, blah, blah. And after I go to the data, artificial intelligence, oh, you play 5-4-1 against 4-3-3, what happened, blah, blah. They will tell you what someone was telling them and repeat. But they will not, the main thing that, and you have seen me as a coach, is just, you prepare the game plan. Everybody can prepare a game plan. Everybody can explain the game plan. Everybody can talk about exercises. Now you go to Instagram or you go to, and you have a lot of magazines and exercises, whatever. But you have to make decisions. And then to make decisions, you have to have the courage, the knowledge, and then after, if something is wrong, still you have to find solution. I can do that. Then at this time, I was thinking about solutions, not just I was worried about that. I was thinking, could be embarrassed, but solutions. Yeah. Give the belief to the players that we have the solution.
People always ask you, don't they, you know, what was this manager like? What was that? So what was Houllier like? What was Rafa like? What was Kenny like? Rodgers, all these different managers, and everyone has obviously different things. Your greatest strength for me as a manager was keeping calm when the pressure was like, I always remember half-time in Istanbul, and I remember a game at Anfield. It was a Champions League qualifier. And it may have been standard 8, but we scored in the last minute. And we were going into extra time. And remember how calm you were. When if we'd have gone out, it would have been a disaster. Yep. And if they'd got an away goal, we were gone. And so I think if you were half-time, considering you're losing 3-0 in the biggest probably game of your life as well as ours, a foreign language in terms of sort of understanding, players being injured, as we saw at half-time with the situation with Steve. That was in the game.
Was it?
So what happened was we came in and Didier Mann has been told to go out and warm up. We've already made a change in the game. Harry Kewell's come off and Smice has gone on. So the system hasn't changed, it's stayed the same.
We moved Luis.
Yeah. So Lewis went to the middle, Smice to the right. So Haman's gone out because we're now going to a back three. I'm actually going left centre-back. Yeah. But then the physio comes out with Steve Finnan, who would have been...
No, he was on the bench.
Or he was on the bench.
With him. And I remember Finnan had the leg like that. I said, you have to make a substitution.
And you'd already sent Traore to the shower.
Yeah, Traore to the shower. Yeah.
You're off. We're making a change. Haman's coming on. You're coming off. So Jimmy's in the shower.
Yeah. Did you get him out of the shower?
Good job,
I didn't know how I told him. Because obviously
you used to just say, this is brilliant. So in the first season, because Rafa's English wasn't great, if he made a substitution at half-time, because he didn't have the vocabulary, he'd just say the person's surname and shower. So it was just like, Traore, shower. In the Champions League final!
But then I didn't remember exactly how it was that.
They understood,
we got the message.
Then Dave Galley was working with Finnan. I said, you have to make a substitution. He cannot play 45 minutes. And in my head is what I said to you. I put his mission that I was not playing too many games as a wing back in a line of 5. And it's because I was thinking about Cissé maybe to help. And they said, no, I didn't have Luis. I put Luis in the middle. So I said, Jimmy, come back. And then Finnan. And Finnan was furious when you go to the shower. I brought the Traore, and then we played with Traore, and you on the right, and that's it. But that was after the team talk, and when Didier Hamann has already gone. So there wasn't people. They don't realize for a manager how difficult it is. And I agree with you. So I try to analyze things. I have my emotions. I don't jump everywhere when we score a goal because we have to do so. I try to analyze things. When we were in Madrid, Valencia against Real Madrid, in January, we were 7 points behind Real Madrid. And I told Cañizares, Ayala, Aymar, we will win the league. And they were, yeah, we will win the title. It was 31 years without winning the title. I told them we will win it. Why? Because I knew what we were doing. I knew what they were doing because I was assistant of Del Bosque for years. So I knew that. And I knew that we were getting better and better and better because we were understanding the game. My players, they used to play with Cooper very deep, with Piojo López up front and Mendieta, and then I moved the line a little bit higher. And that was a change for everything. We were pressing high, we were regaining the ball quickly. We have Vicente on the left side that was playing for Brighton, was really good. We have Rufete and Angulo. So Mista that scored 24 goals. So I knew, I had believed that we could do
Rafa,
it.
can I ask you about, when I think of you as a manager, so you went to, so you've had success at Valencia. When you come to Liverpool, we were a level below United, Arsenal and Chelsea. We're trying to compete against these teams. You've done that at Napoli as well. But you went to Inter Milan and you went to Real Madrid, teams who would, I think Inter Milan won the Champions League, Real Madrid obviously.
Inter did the treble with 15 players over 30
No, but
years
my point is, do you think that was just circumstances why it never worked there? Or do you think certain managers, you see certain managers who keep teams up, or you see Ancelotti managers at Real Madrid, is your skill set fighting against the top teams, or do you think it was circumstances why it never worked at Inter Milan, Real Madrid?
You have to analyze the context. Ancelotti was fired in Napoli, and I was successful in Napoli.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
so you think Ancelotti at Everton,
yeah,
he's not...
I think the context, you have to analyze the context. You were asking me the question about money available. So if you go to Ireland, you cannot win the title. So you have to qualify it, and it will be a great success. If you go to Manchester United, you have to compete for the title. And my philosophy, that is Manchester United in the past, and obviously Chelsea now maybe, or well, not now, but some teams, you have to win. First is everything, second is nothing. Second is nothing. So that was the mentality. The problem that when you go to a team that has 15 players over 30 years old, it cannot work because they cannot run. And then they say in Italy the pancia piena, so they have big bellies now, and now they don't run. Pancia piena. Pancia piena. It's full. The belly is full.
Oh,
so then, do you know that yourself?
Rafa, you said you were calm, and you are calm, and you were quite consistent in all your press conferences. But the one where you lost your...
no, I didn't lose anything.
You looked flustered. You looked more animated.
This was premeditated.
You look more animated than... You look more animated.
You said that I was cracking up. What means cracking up?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that in
Maybe, yeah.
Probably.
Rafa's cracking up. That's the song, wasn't it? It wasn't me.
I will tell you.
He'll be doing that to DJ next week. Spinning his disc.
Gary, what means cracking up? I don't understand the meaning.
You're animated.
You're
animated.
No. Animated, I know, I understand. Cracking up. Cracking means cracking up.
Him at Valencia.
It means the pressure was getting to you at that point, and you reacted
it's
differently.
The opposite, and I will tell you why. Okay. We went to Old Trafford, and it was a boy with the father. He has a big banner. Rafa is cracking up, and we beat you 1-4. You were cracking up because Ferguson was so worried about us that he was using everything that he has in his book to create.
But why did you let that?
No, but
get to you.
You have 2 games in hand. When we were ahead, you have 2 games in hand because you play in the World Cup for clubs. Yeah. Then you come back and then you won the games. And then you have some draws, and then obviously you were doing well. Cracking up, I was joking, because the last 11 games, we drew 1 against Arsenal 4-4 at home, and we won 10. So we were not cracking up. No. The problem that you had extra time, and then you play 7 minutes extra, and then you score against Aston Villa with Makeda.
What season was this we're talking about?
2009. But what I'm saying to you is you reacted very differently in that press conference.
But let me explain to you. We play 4 games after international games and Champions League games. We play 4 games at home, 8 games away. United was playing 8 games at home, even on Sunday, and 4 games away. Why? Ferguson was complaining about, we played the second part of the league against the top sides at home. Yeah, everybody wants to play at home, the second part of the league. So he was complaining, and then I said, you can decide the fixture, you can decide what you want. But we were playing 4 games away, 12:45 kickoff, and I have to defend my club, and then the only way for us, because I could see that you were progressing, and the way that the games were going on with the extra time, I say, listen, we will
Mind
lose.
games, man.
It was
We will lose.
It was
Yeah.
Howard Webb with that penalty against Tottenham. Jeez.
A lot of things, and then another one, a handball of Ferdinand, they did like that, and it was a corner. Anyway, I could see that.
He doesn't hold on to
Is
it.
this suggestive corruption here or something?
I could see that. Then I said, the only chance that we have is if you lose against Chelsea at home. Then I was analysing the fixtures. This is the game. So I wanted to be sure that there was a 11 playing field game, and everybody will be focused on that, and anything strange can happen. The problem that you won 2-0, because they fired Scolari later on, and then you were better or whatever. And then we lost this chance. But after we were winning,
You're saying that you were in control at that press conference.
I can answer that, because the game you played against Chelsea was on Sky. And I was playing for Liverpool. I got asked to do the game for Sky. I actually did the game in the box, and I asked you if it was okay. So that was on the.
Still playing?
Yeah.
And
so
did Sky?
Yeah. So on the Thursday or Friday when I asked you, you said to me, "I'm going to go against Ferguson in the press conference." So I knew something was coming. So it wasn't like someone asked
off the cuff.
Yeah, it was like you prepared what
my
you were
English,
do.
and then you could see, because as you say, my press conference, but it was very clear. So I needed to make the points. Nobody was complaining about the points.
What were the points you made? I don't remember. Obviously, you said facts, and you said this. What was
the games in the Champions League? We were playing.
Oh, so the 12:45 kickoffs.
So you were playing on Sunday. I was Aston Villa, one of the games. You were playing on Sunday at home, and we were playing in Sunderland. We were playing in Portsmouth.
That's the computer. That's the computer.
Yeah, the computer.
Stick to football. Brought to you by SkyBet.
Have you always been someone that's been so logical and not emotional, like
No,
when you were
emotional.
a player?
I'm emotional, but I try to control, as he said. I try to analyze things before, during, and after. So if I have to, I want to keep coaching, but I have seen, I made a mistake because I went to another level, and you cannot increase the level if they don't give you time. And now the owners, they talk, but they don't give you time because the social media, everything is going so fast. Then what I want is to compete and then analyze what is going on in this club. This is the history. Fine. At the moment, so some of the mistakes is that because when a team is not winning for years, it's because they don't have the money, they don't have the players, or they don't have the staff. And then sometimes you trust the people, that is nice people, but they are not capable to go to the next level. So you are Manchester United, Arsenal, we were Liverpool. So if you want to go to the next level, you need the best physios. You need the best doctors. You need the best in the kitchen, the nutritionists, blah, 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 blah. Then you can have nice people, but you need the top fitness coach, whatever. If you don't have that, you are losing something compared with the others. Then
Do you regret your last few decisions, Ed?
No. When you make the decision, you analyze the context.
Right.
So I went to Everton.
Why?
Because if my family is in Liverpool, I wanted to stay there.
Rafa, you can't.
And also,
Why did you switch to Liverpool?
I had the conversation with a person that was telling me, you can spend money and we can compete and we can go to another level. The point that how much money we spend. Everton was spending 150 millions.
You bought Damari Gray and Andros Townsend.
1.7 million we spent. 1.7. Wow. We had 5 players, and the only one that we pay the escape clause was Damari Gray. 1.7. Yeah. That's it. So financial, and people say, oh no, and I have some Everton fans. We saved the club because we didn't spend the money. So if we spend more money, it will be even worse.
Well, what was go back? Not so much the job. I think Roy's talking about the job, but in terms of like, why would you go to Everton or go to Manchester? You went to Chelsea as well after sort of being so sort of ingrained and such a sort of legend at Liverpool winning the Champions League. Did you not fear about like going there?
I think the fans still they appreciate that what I did for Everton. For Liverpool in this case. Everton could be for Liverpool. So we had the charities, and then we are in the city. So I wanted to stay close to my family in England because I was going to Napoli. I was going to Inter de Milan. So I took my family to Milan, and it was a disaster because they were abusing the schools. So when you were losing a game, so my daughter, she was crying all the time. I said, listen, I will stay here, my family will stay, I will go there. Then I was going different places. Real Madrid, we were winning. So the problem that they were under pressure, they made too many mistakes. And I was talking with staff inside, said, listen, they have to make a decision because everything is like they perceive things. We were doing well. So Ronaldo, 15 days before, he said, they are doing a good job because you need to understand the politics in this club. So then when you go there, say, listen, I want to stay here. The Premier League, I like the Premier League and I want to compete. And it was a chance to compete.
Yeah, Rafa, sorry lads, my point was about the jobs you've picked recently would have been jobs where, whatever you said about Everton as a Celtic, that was going to be about survival when you're a manager who's used to competing. Real Madrid have his politics, at Liverpool, I can understand even why you went to Chelsea, despite your rivalry, because as a manager you go, well, Chelsea can win trophies. Yeah. So you have to be selfish from a manager. But your last couple of jobs must be a case of, I won't be winning. No matter how much you would have got to spend.
Right, I was convinced that I cannot say on the record. So right. My conversation with Everton.
But even your last job in Spain.
Yeah, but Everton was the right person, was telling me the right things. He invited me, and everything was a big project. But after, it was not right.
Yeah. Yes, you see, listen to that.
You are in the middle, and you are in the middle and say, oh, what can I do now?
Especially with your family stuff. Yeah. They're saying that they're going to try and do a project, and you've got the family stuff. You know, it's like with your family.
I get that, but if Tranmere offer you the job, you wouldn't take Tranmere because your family live in Liverpool, would you? I know you like Tranmere. You would have took the job, even though your family are there.
Vigo, my wife is from Vigo. Okay. It's from Orense, Vigo, Galicia. So I thought, okay, 3 years contract. I go there. The conversation they have with the president, that was 80 years old, and the daughter that is the president now, was great. Luis Campos was the external advisor, so he can bring players from PSG or whatever. So then we can go close to Europe, and then go to Europe, 2 years, Europe, 3 years, see what happened, and after decide. Then I could come back to England, and my family could come because the family is there. The point that social media, money, the financial fair play is so strict in Spain that it's very difficult to compete because Real Madrid can spend 600 millions, 600, and Celta can spend 60. Right. Impossible to compete. So you have to do everything right. Yeah. And then when you are in the middle, and you have been a manager, you have been there, they tell you this, that. When you are in the middle, you say, oh, listen, it's not what they told me. Yeah. Now, they are doing now exactly what I told them, honestly. So if you see the players that they are getting rid of them, exactly what I told them, but now they are doing with another manager. Inter Milan was the same. So listen, this player, they did it after because they don't want to recognize that you are right. They trust the players. Oh, the players are not happy. Yeah, are not happy because if you don't play, you are not happy. Yeah. So I am bringing someone that is better than you, and then you are not happy, and you go to the chairman, and That is the reality now. Then I can compete, and I want to win. Then if you give me the tools, I can compete with anyone.
You said you're very kind of set in your ways, and you look at the figures, and you said you've done that since you were a younger coach. But your last couple of decisions, very much, you've mentioned your family. Yeah. But can it just be? Can that be a wrong decision when it's just emotions? My family live in Liverpool, in Everton. You've got the connection with Liverpool.
Yeah, this one.
Your wife's from, you know, in the Spanish job. So sometimes you have to, even an experienced manager like yourself, going, it can't be emotion. There's got to be a proper business side to it.
Yeah, no, I agree. But at the same time, you're a person. So if we score a great goal, and I do okay, but inside I'm really proud.
What is next, Rafa? What's next?
Yeah. I'm thinking about Premier League. That is not easy because I had offers. Trust me, I have 5-6 offers from teams at the bottom of the table. They were telling me, oh, for the next...
So you want Premier League? You want to get back into the Premier League?
Yeah, that is a priority. I am realistic. So then I have the passion, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, so I can make the difference. Mm-hmm. And the methodology, I like to be on the pitch coaching players and improving players, little things. Anthony Gordon is one of the examples. So we can improve players and we can make these things happen. Mm. But there are not too many. Manchester United will not come for me. So Chelsea will not come for me. So there are teams that I will not coach because they will not come for me now. Then the teams at the middle of the table, bottom of the table, they start firing managers and they say, oh, then you have to make a decision. I want to coach in the Premier League, then this team at the bottom of the table is coming, they have a project, or they will panic and then...
A project, do you believe in that anymore, Rafa?
No.
The projects?
They don't get time now, though. They don't get time.
International football?
No, I agree. Then the first thing is Premier League. If not, this year I have 2 from Greece, one for Turkey, one for Hungary, 2 from Mexico,
Wow.
1 from Emirates, 1 from Qatar, 2 from Saudi Arabia, and a couple of national teams. So now I'm thinking about Premier League priority. Can I compete to win, or is just to stay there? I don't like to be a survivor.
But I think international football would
international
suit you.
football could be.
I remember
Yeah.
just when we were doing well at Liverpool, there was one-off games that you'd focus on, like a Champions League semi-final or a big game against a certain opponent, and you'd sort of. I think that would suit you.
Carragher, I was talking in the UEFA meetings about the number of games that the teams are playing. A lot of games, and there's a lot of controversial about that. So it's not too many. We play 69, I think, with 69 with Chelsea. So it's not that you play more now. It's that the intensity of the game has changed. But no, just the number of games in total. So it could be, but still you have 5 substitutions, and they don't use the 5 substitutions. I'm against that because I think that is an advantage for the top sides. So for me now is international. You play, qualify for the World Cup, qualify for the Euros. 50% of the games you will win with the cigarette. That's it. Because you are a top side. You play against Malta, Luxembourg, Andorra, half of the games you win with the cigarette. And then you have a couple of games 3 games that you have to compete. Then you have 2 years to build something, the right mentality, style, a model of play, thing like that, and then compete. So some of the teams, the national teams that they offered to me, I didn't push, it was to qualify. I said, it's not enough. One of them was in the Euros, and they were doing well, and it was to qualify. That's it. So I want to compete for winning. And then because I have the experience to do it, so I can go to any game with a good team and compete against Spain or compete against anyone. I can do it because I know that I did it. And still I have this passion and analyze the football, and I use my people. So if I go to Ireland, I will ask you questions, and then you will say this, that, because you know the environment, you know the problems. So then you need to know what is going on. You need people there that can help, and you need to think about the plan. I can do this with any team, and a national team could be fine. Why? Because I don't have the same energy that when I was 20, so I'm not stupid. So then you have to bring people that they can do that, and you have to manage them, and you have to say, Antonio Gomez as a fitness coach, he can do a job. So my staff, I put someone that was maybe 30 years old now. He's very good with the analysis, with the big data, with the artificial intelligence. Why? Because he can help me in this area. I'm okay on that, but he can help. I need people that can do that, and I can manage them.
Rafa, one final question. So
you told me it was 6 hours, no?
I was going to start with this question, but we just got sidetracked into different things. So on the 3rd of January 2016, I don't know if you remember the date, Valencia played against Real Madrid. I was the manager of Valencia, you were the manager of Real Madrid. And it was the 3rd of January, just after Christmas. And after the game, we bumped into each other coming out of the press conference. And in Spain, I thought managers were I thought some of them were disrespectful to me. Maybe I didn't deserve the respect. But Valverde and yourself, you had a long chat with me after the game, and you were under significant pressure at that point. And you were actually sacked. You were sacked the day after.
The fans were singing my name?
Yeah, yes.
And we drew, and there was
we drew 2-2.
On goal of Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, and Negredo went through in the last minute and should have scored.
Yeah.
But you were sacked the day after. You were under extreme pressure at that time. And do you remember speaking to me in the stairway after the game?
Yeah, I don't remember the comment.
That's the only thing Rafa doesn't remember.
That's a good ending. That saved us 10 minutes.
The only thing he's never remembered in his life.
What a good thing.
No, come on, give him a chance. No, you must.
No, you would speak. Just lie.
Just lie.
He was under pressure.
You remember the game 2-2?
Yeah, I remember everything because I was talking with Sergio. Sergio was supposed not to play, and then he said he was fine. He played and he scored an own goal in the last. Kovacic was sent off, and we were playing 10 players.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and the fans were singing my name and put banners in my favour. But we knew that Florentino was working, so I was quite worried about that because we knew that something was.
No, but you were good with me. I mean,
I used to be. Even if I don't like other managers, that's not the case.
Even if I don't like you,
I don't like the manager.
I will.
I will tell you, I used to have a normal conversation. I have one manager that I don't like the manager. Then I didn't want to go.
Who is it?
No.
I didn't want to.
No. What's going on
I
here?
didn't want to go. And then
He's Scottish.
Sorry, I'm
He's Catalan, I think.
listen, I was with Ferguson going to UEFA meetings, and I was, when you play the final against Arsenal in Paris, I was invited. I was with my wife, and Ferguson was with his wife, and the Arsenal fans were abusing him, and I was in the middle protecting him. So these things that I don't understand, when you have a relationship with a person close, because we were in the plane sometimes together to Nyon, or you talk about, you are expecting something, and it's not. So it's just, okay, fine. Then I have a good relationship with him. We go to Nyon, and everything is fine. But at this time, and I was in the middle physically, they were abusing him, and I was protecting him with my wife here, and I was sit down with him in the plane sometimes. So for me, it was strange, but it's not him. It's another manager. And then I didn't like this man. I don't like this manager. That's it. As a person, as a manager. But that's it. Then I was waiting. I didn't want to go back to the boot room, to have. I said I will wait and see, because I don't want to be hypocrite. Then I went inside, and he was there. Oh. And I said, listen, by the way, I don't like you. He was drinking a beer. Me neither. But I don't want to be hypocrite, so I am educated, and if I am upset, maybe you will feel that I am upset, but still I have to respect the other people. Yeah. Everyone is defending his job, his club, in the way that they have to do it, and I have to respect that. So, but at the same time, I want to win. Mm-hmm. So it's not that you go there, oh, nice football, 4-0, oh, great, we are happy. No, I'm not happy, so I'm thinking, why? So I need to find a solution. Then,
Rafa, last question. You said Steven Gerrard was the best player you've ever managed. Who was the best centre-back you ever managed?
Do I have to lie?
Lie.
Rafa, well done. Fantastic. Thank you. Well, thank you.
Beautiful, Rafa. Thank you. Good stuff, Rafa. Great stuff.
You drew 2-2 with Valencia.
No, I drew 2-2 with Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And we
You
were,
were, it was Valencia.
No, so Rafa got sacked the day after.
That's what I'm saying. You were manager of Valencia.
It was all my third game.
Yeah, that's why you got sacked. You got
we were.
Yeah.
No, remember. No, sorry.
And Negredo goes through after the 2-2 in the last minute for us to score to win it. And who's your keeper? Who's the keeper? I don't know who your keeper was.
Our keeper was Keylor Navas.
And he saves it.
So that win could have changed your...
Well,
Life
could have changed. You wouldn't be a DJ now. Hey.